per ASUCI Constitution Article 8, Section A4. Whereas at 1:30 a.m. on March 9, 2016, the ASUCI Council Speaker, Alvin Fan, received a petition signed by at least 5% of undergraduate students in the Palmer School Business demanding a recall of the ASUCI Council member for the Palmer School Business, George Navashadian. Whereas at 4:46 a.m. March 10, 2016, 46 students have signed on to the petition demanding a recall for Council member George Navashadian. Therefore, let it be resolved that ASUCI Council member George Navashadian be put up for recall. The recall election shall be held during the spring 2016 general election. I move to open discussion for 10 minutes, 1 minute speaker time. Second. Alvin. I received a petition signed by 46 students. The petition is attached to the end of your packets, and also there's only 5 packets to the public. I apologize for that, but please share around if people are interested. The signatures have been validated by the Office of Information Technology under ASUCI. Per our consultations with Judicial Board and Elections Commissioner, we will be holding a recall election during the spring election. So during the ASUCI General Spring Election, business students, all students who are under Business Administration or Business Information Management, will get to vote on recalling their officer. If 20% of undergraduate students participate in the spring election and 2/3 vote in approval of his removal, he'll be removed from office immediately pending the ratification of the results, and that under the assurance that election procedures are followed by Elections Commission and all that stuff. Here's the speaker's list. Sorry, it's 10 and an hour.
So I just want to say that everything is in order, and I will support this measure as an honor of the business students who did sign it. I would just like to say to all of the MSU that came out, thank you for coming out here. It's not that often that we get to see a full house, so thanks. I only wish you could see me better times, but knowing George personally, yeah, pardon. I would just like to apologize for his actions. What he does is very idiotic and stupid, and it does not represent well on his character or anyone else. However, I believe that as a UC institution, and especially as you students have suffered at the hands of discrimination, and especially at the hands of many people in this country, I would just like you guys to find it in your heart to help George see the correct path if he so desires, if he apologizes and if he is willing to make up. Because too often in this society, it is easy to end this discussion with, yeah, we took a racist out. That makes us feel so great. But that would just be continuing a cycle of hatred that is reflected in the other side that often does the same to us as well. And I would like to see a dialogue between your two sides, to sort of understand what he can do better, and to understand you guys more fully, so that we can both, so that all sides can come forward, and that we at UCI can say, yes, we took a racist out of office, and we helped him understand what makes us special, what we are all about, because that is what we are taught at UCI. It is not to return bigotry and hate with more bigotry and hate, but it is to do it with forgiveness and with understanding to those who are willing to accept it, and that we all can change for the better. And if you cannot do that, I can completely understand. There's a lot of people out there, but if you can, it's the hardest thing to do. It's a part of being a good person, and being a good person is really hard. And I ask this of your organization, as a friend of George, and as a council member, the representative of engineers who see things logically. Thank you.
All right, and then Ms. Alex, then Miguel. Two. Chairs, you refuse to speak. I'm sorry. Wait, what?
I forgot I was going to say I was in the
Oh, okay. Thank you, Tim, for your comment, and I understand where you're coming from, but the MSU already posts a lot of events where they try to educate the community about Islam, and I think if people aren't aware about Islam or Islamophobia, then it's their personal fault. I think it's kind of unfair to demand that they do extra work to educate a person when it's actually people who should be educating themselves. But thank you for your comments, Bill.
So I'll be making the comment that I'll pass my chair to Christine. So this is coming from me as a business student and a former business rep. I'm disappointed in George's action. This is something that business students, and a lot of it that I've been talking to, this is not the business this is not the ethics of the Palmer School of Business, and this is not something that lost business students will tolerate either. So we, at least from a lot of the business students that I've been speaking to, we do support its removal, and this is just something that I would like to take on. So I pass my chair to Christine.
I just wanted to ask why it's so far out. Do we have to do the election all the way with the general election in spring?
It's actually the final call of elections commissioner, and we posed to her the choice of whether or not you want to hold a separate special election, or you want to combine it with the general election. And it's not within our own jurisdiction to call that, it's with elections, and that's what they said that they wanted to do. I think if I was elections commissioner, that would actually make more sense as well, just because like holding two separate elections is a lot more work than just doing one big one. That was what they wanted to do, and we wanted to respect their capacity as elections commissioners, so we decided to go along with that. Or Annette, sorry, or Annette can also clarify that too. I apologize for that.
Yeah, so hi everyone, my name is Annette from the Provincial Board, and if you look at the Constitution, it actually states when the election needs to be held, and there's a clause that states that this should be held at the next closest election, which will be the spring election of next quarter. Spring election.
I'm gonna pull it up right now. I'm sorry, everyone.
So even if it was right after, like, you got elected or something, it would have to go all the way?
So in the Constitution, it states that the elections need to take place after 15 days, but no more than 2 academic quarters. But if you look at the paragraph at the very bottom, it states that the election needs to take, the recall needs to take place at the nearest election. Sorry, I have really bad eyesight, so I can't really see it, but if you can read it, that's what it states.
I think it helped if you unfolded it.
Oh, sorry. It's right before Article 9 of the Constitution as well. If you all want to pull up, I know it's all seeing no further discussion, I move to call the question be unanimous consent.
Are there any objections? Then we'll go. Yeah.
One thing, I just want to say, I think this is why it's very important for us as students, when election season does come around, that we take it seriously and we do, in fact, vote for people that we think as students represent us. Because a lot of times when it comes around, people do vote, but we need to take these elections seriously and vote for people that we think do represent us fully.
So with that, we'll move on to a vote.
This voice vote to the unanimous consent.
Oh.
Is there,
You can allow her to comment.
Okay, yeah, so go ahead.
okay, really quickly, I had a meeting with the assistant dean of the business school today, and we actually, as business students, have our own independent governing body called the Mirage Undergraduate Student Association, and she said that this incident really highlighted the disconnect between us and ASUCI, and she really wants it to for us to take the initiative to kind of have a liaison between the two. So throughout the progression of the next couple of years, I think that Musa and the Paul Mirage School of Business would like to see a greater affiliation between the two schools, the school and the school at large.
Just so I can answer your question a little bit, so we do have these seats have actually been filled like 3 or 4 years ago, but somehow they got lost along the midst. We have seats for, if you're a registered campus organization and you want to have an ex-officio seat on council, you can apply. We have 5 seats available, but one is already reserved to GUSH, or Government Undergraduate Student Housing. That's an avenue I would advise to MUSA if they want to be more involved with council. We can talk off the record later too, but just to answer your question.
Thank you.
Do you mind if we just go on to a vote, Amy? Because,
Okay.
yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
It's
So
voice
we'll
vote
do a
on-
voice vote right now, so all of those in favor for, do we have the title on here?
It's the last page of the 6C6 on the agenda.
Okay. All those in favor of the consent agenda?
I apologize, everyone. We pulled R5172 off the consent agenda, and it's being considered immediately. The consent agenda is still after this.
Okay, so
I
all those in
apologize.
favor of R5172, the recall of Councilman Gabor Noshadian, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Abstentions? So it passes. So with that, we'll go forward with the readings of the rest of the consent agenda items, starting with R 5167, ASUCI endorsement of constitutional amendment proposal.